I'm late. I'm late. Hello. Also have allergies. Hello. Ran and Peachy. Oh my Lord, I lay out so much. I've also used this. Y'all remember when I bought this lipstick? No, lip gloss. And it is a lip plump. And it literally feels like I have just eaten an open flame. There's that. There is that. Hello, 6 people coming in. Hope everyone is well. Happy Easter. This is going to be so quick. Hey, sweet crazy. This is going to be such a quick live because the case I'm going to discuss would be the Fandel children from Sterling, Alaska. There is not a lot. And I mean not a lot at all. It doesn't matter if you try to look for a lot, it's not there. I do have a lot of notes, but I didn't need them. I don't know why I wrote them. I just didn't need them. You know, sweet crazy. Are you ready for Easter tomorrow? This is the first year I kind of haven't had to buy like eggs and fine. Oh, thank you. This is the first year I kind of have not had to do that. The eggs and the grandchildren and the all that. They're a little bit too old, so they say, but they are not too old for money, and I get that. I get that. I am not too old for money. So there's that. I completely get it. It feels like I have just eaten open flames with this stuff. Polite society. What do I do with it? I am telling you right now, this is no effing joke. Y'all remember when I got down here? Hey, Carrie. There it is. There it is. Oh my God. Like I ate fire. But that's okay. Now, Catherine will be every once in a while giving me a little update on the hockey game. Seems that there's been a lot of fights while I've just been downstairs. And hold on. I love it when they tell me it's the wrong password, but then they go right in. Okay, so we'll put that in case Catherine has got to message me. Okay. Or if the millions of thousands and thousands of cash apps come, I'll be able to see them. I hate peas. Exactly. I am not too old for money. All right, let me. Shit. Oh, y'all, and look, y'all. Come on now. Hold on. Y'all know the lights that I bought for down here. Hold on. I'll show you again. Oh, fuck up. Here they are. And I haven't hung them up yet. Blue. Well, I'm just going to clear the desk. How about they do that? Isn't that festive? That's as far as we gotten. And these are battery operated. So I don't have to like call an electrician. Can I say hi to this? I'd rather say bye to Tam Tam. That dumb whore. She is trying to get on. Well, let me say, I ain't going to give her a fucking minute. I ain't going to give her a fucking minute. She's kind of like them other two assholes that she's all of a sudden in love with. They're too fucking crazy to stay sane. So, just let that happen. Well, I'll just let that go. I will just let that go. Tammy wants me to be her wife, and I'm not going to do it. I don't like girls. And if I did like girls, I wouldn't like her because she's too butchy. She's always wanting to lick the screen every time she thinks I'm gonna, have a low cutting shirt. Whatever. No, Tammy, you cannot be my lover. You can't do it. I'm sorry. Go get her and hop up on your buddy. Pick one. I don't give a shit. I call them the Temu Golden Girls, Mark and what's his face. Since they cannot stop talking about me, I get it, guys. I get it. Hey, PG, Exactly. I get it. Why you two need to talk about me, why you feel like you need to talk. I get it. Okay, I do. I like to talk about myself. I understand. But if you're only going to have thought provoking and woke shows, move along. Move along. Move along. Hey, Vicky, Jasper. Jasper is my dancing king, if y'all don't know. If y'all don't know, I know. And it's Jasper. So again, this is going to be a 15-minute. It's not going to be a 15. It could be 15 minutes. So what we're going to discuss these children. And then we got 2 updates on some cases. We've got a positive DNA match to Ted Bundy, this lovely girl that died. And I'll explain that. And then we have another girl who has been missing for 31 years, 32 years. She was going out to walk to the place where her horse is. She was 13. And she was just taken, gone. Poof, poof. And she has been found. Hey, Angela. She has been found. 32 years later, she has been found alive. I don't know the story on that. I don't know if it's like, she was abducted and then or if she just ran away. I don't know. Nobody knows. There is also a development in the Texas killing fields. And I could have brought that up tonight. However, I've done 2. When I covered them, I covered the first set of killing fields, which was in Galveston. That was in the 70s. 30 girls died. They know who did it. I'm pretty sure he didn't die for it, but whatever. And then we move up and from 80s, mid-80s to the early 90s. 4 women. Well, 4 females, put that way. A couple were children. Were found in a very small lot. Thank you. And I was going to give you that update. Thank you. So, but it's too complicated. And when I say that, if you, 11 or Sunday, alive. And I don't know what the story is because they're not saying if she ran away, if it was just Stockholm or I don't know, children. I mean, she's like 44 now. So, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm happy that she's not dead, but if I were her parents, she would be after I found her. But anyway, if she ran. So anyway, the Texas killing fields are it's too complicated. And so I didn't think if I had to give you this update, I'd have to go all the way, right? Well, all the way, but I'd have to go to the late 80s and mid 90s and in fact, here's what I'm gonna do. If you have Netflix, okay, Shannon, news clip I saw today. She chose to walk away. All right, that's what I figured, Ram, because usually when and there haven't been a lot, y'all know. There's not been a lot of women found after they were kidnapped. There have been a few, and they were, it's bad, but I wasn't sure. And they kept saying there wasn't going to be any, they don't have any update or details. So I figured maybe it was her running off. If you have Netflix, so I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to put it in the link. In this thing. If you have Netflix, there is a documentary. It is called The Texas Killing Fields. It is about, let me see. Hold on. I'm not looking at y'all right now. Let me see. Hold on. All right. Stop. It is. Copy it. Let me see how many episodes there are. Is it just 3? It's got to be more than that. Yeah, just 3. But these go through. It goes through the ones in the 70s. Okay, that's when 30 women went missing, girls and went missing. That's right, 30. And I know who did it. I know they had the guy, but I don't know if he ever went to jail for the murders of these people. So that's the first one in this first episode. I'm going to put it right here. If you haven't, watch it, because you will then understand how difficult it's just so many moving parts. You have the Amber Alert, the little girl that inspired the Amber Alert. She went missing about 200 miles, maybe. I can't remember right now how far it was from League City, which is right outside of Houston. But hey, Wolf Rider, she is possibly the victim of one of these men. And I say one of these men because we got a few. We have a few in that area. It's a very interesting story, but again, I could have brought it to you. It's just too many working parts. It's very complicated. And I came down and I did a show, part 1, part 2. One was the 70s and those children, well, they were children. And then part 2 was the one actually on Calder Drive. Hey, watcher, hello. So yeah, if you have Netflix, that's the clip, that's the link, and we'll discuss it. I just mean, it is a lot to discuss. We ready? Let's do this. All right, let me put these photos up. We're gonna get right started. Thank you, Rand. Thank you. Yeah, Lulu told me about I was so excited because she told me about a update in Texas, and I'm like, well, I got a lot of Texas cases. I got the Fort Worth trio. They've been missing since 74. We have the Killing Fields, and every time you think the murderers in the Killing Fields, they add another one like they did this week. I mean, these all were just this week. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And you know what I was thinking? This is my daughter and I were talking. We were talking about, and I was telling her about how much it costs to do one test on anything, evidence, whatever. Especially these older cases. It is literally about $50,000, if not more, to test one piece of evidence. And usually these police departments have to get grants because the couple of people, the companies that do these nano. Thank you, Wolf Rider, for being a member for 31 months. Thank you. Oh, blessings and well wishes to you as well. I appreciate you very much. Hey, Carrie, 18 months. Yeah. So yeah, they have to get grants. So then we're talking about Jeff Bezos. And if you will, I'm pretty sure I laid this out one time. He's going to space all the time. And literally it looks like he is blasting off dildos. They're like dicks. I'm sorry, dude. I don't know what you like, but you sure do like firing off some wieners up into the atmosphere. However, we were talking, me and Catherine. You got Bezos, who's got probably $1 trillion. I don't even know. What would happen? What would happen if he gave $1 trillion? I don't think he's a trillionaire, but he's probably really close. How about you? What if him and these other ones gave, I don't know, a couple million, 20 million, they ain't gonna miss it, right? And give it to these departments all over the country. And we start pulling down this evidence. And then we got, we probably will have the killer, the murderer, whatever. But they don't do that. That's why I can never win the lottery. I wouldn't have it for very much. I wouldn't have that money for very long at all. Ask anybody, it will be gone. I would give it away. But, you think about that, because Catherine actually brought that up. That's a pretty good point. That's a pretty good point, my girl. All right, let me see. Let's pull these up. Peachy, thank you for being a member for 8 months. Peachy is my woke friend. I've been woke, and I know that that Peachy been woke. And some people don't like it when you woke. But I will tell you this, my Peachy says, I don't give a shit what anybody says. Let's have some serious conversation. I will say this though, real quick. It's probably ain't gonna end well. But if y'all know, don't blame Katie, don't blame whatever her name is. You know, everybody said, oh, she been gone. No, she not. She was never gone. If you go over there to the pedos that she follows, you know, the people that take advantage of the mentally handicapped and ask them to do sexual things, she's been right over there, babies. Don't worry. She was not lost. She was not taking a break. She's over there with her people. So she decided to go live this week, right? God love her. Thank God she's pretty. Because Peachy has made some statements, and I fully agree with them, that if you are not reading those Epstein files and you don't see where your boy Donald is in there, 15,000 times? I hate that disorder. If you don't know that, and if you don't know the Virginia Gap, the girl that the girl that wrote the book about the Epstein and what he did to her, right? I still have it right yet. It's upstairs. But that girl, 15, can I just say this? That girl worked for Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago in the spa. Why is he employing a 15-year-old in a spa? Never you mind. Epstein got her and took her with him. Okay, that's one. That's one example. So, God love it, I had to watch it over and over. Katie, and if you're watching Katie, fuck off. Katie couldn't even pronounce the name Epstein. What was she calling? Epstein? She wasn't even pronouncing the name correctly. Much less has she cracked open any of these reports that have come through. Just read them. They're out there, okay? Read them. They're out there. And then she took offense to comparing Trump to a pedophile. But if Trump is employing 15-year-old girls in his spa at Mar-a-Lago, I ain't no fucking Miss Marple, but something's up, okay? And not to mention that he's been in there 15,000 times. So Katie, who could not even pronounce the name Epstein, so I know she hasn't cracked anything open and watched it, was offended. Oh, well, I'm offended by people who get mentally handicapped humans to stick things up their ass and go tell their mother. That offends the fuck out of me. If you don't know, you want to talk about you being upset, Miss Katie, and the rest of those people over there. I don't know who you are. That doesn't upset you. That doesn't piss you off. But mentioning that Trump might have some goddamn information here upsets you people. Y'all run with that. Y'all run with that. Good luck. I say good luck, bitches, because you ain't woke. Okay, not even a little bit. That's the end of my political. Hey, Banjo. They really are, Banjo. And here's the thing. You don't come out and speak upon something you don't know about and say that it offends you. If you don't know what you're talking about, why are you offended? And if you are stupid to what's in those files, don't open your mouth, because it makes you look stupid. If you're going to be offended and you've never cracked open the files, just don't. But by all means, go back over there, Katie, with your friends who, again, have mentally challenged people stick things up their ass, lick them, and take them to their mother. That's what we're dealing with Katie and her friends. But please, please don't offend her by mentioning the Epstein files, as she said. I mean, they've had this fucking name for what, years, and the bitch doesn't know it's Epstein and not Epstein. Can't even pronounce the name, but you're offended, Katie, and all the rest of y'all over it. Oh, wow. Life is hard. Life is fucking, and I'm going to get off my, exactly. If you hate them, stop electing them. How's everybody gas going? Everybody's getting gas right now? How's y'all gas prices going? I'm asking for a friend. How's y'all gas prices going? How's this government shutdown working? Because I can tell you what Congress did. Y'all want to know what the Republican-led Congress did? Well, they went on and elected to take their 2-week break. Fuck all y'all that need your paycheck. Fuck all y'all. And now, y'all can watch TMZ on this. A big gaggle of them are right now on vacation in Scotland. And they're touring castles. And they're having a great time. And guess who's paying for that? Hey, Clippin! Hello, Clippin. Yeah, so how's that working for you? How's them gas working for you? Huh? Okay. Just asking. How is... And I didn't mean this to get political, but it's going to get political. Wasn't our commander in, well, I'm not going to, he ain't my president, but that guy, didn't he go live this week and talk about, oh, we've decimated everything. We've decimated all their stuff. Really? We've decimated that. Well, we had a fighter, we had a jet fighter just got, blown out of the sky with a, I don't know where they got that one last missile because he said that they were decimated. Somebody found one. Sometimes I forget and I find shit all the time, that I thought I lost, So somebody's son right now is missing in Iran. Why? Why are we there? Why? Well, you remember when he said they were gonna fire on us? No, they weren't. No, they weren't. In fact, Mr. Trump, you had a lot of people that worked for you that just completely they left after you said that because it's not true. And now let's get. And I swear to God, I didn't mean this to be political, but Katie Combs owning the well, no, actually being a Republican is expensive, but so all the protesters that were in Iran, they were killing thousands. I get it, that's not good. And so Trump said, hold on, guys, I'll be right over there, don't worry, I got you. Okay. And then he proceeds to bomb them. These protesters. He was so upset about the protesters. Well, then he goes and he bombs them. A whole fucking school of children. Was that 164? They had bad intel. That Hedgepath guy who was a psychopath, okay? He just wants to blow shit up. So does his boss there. So now we're going to hit, what did he say? Bridges and power plants? And he's going to bomb them out of the sky. I forgot his latest fucking threat. So how are we helping the protesters that were against the regime? We didn't. We killed their children when we hit that school. We're bombing their cities. We're going to hit the bridges and the water plants and the water and the electronic. And you tell me how we're helping them. You can't. But if you want to try, my email's in the description. Let's talk about Scott and Amy Fandell. And here they are right here. So this case, I'm telling you right now, this is the weirdest effing case ever. So we have Margaret Fandell. There's not let me tell you, this picture and another one that I'm going to show you of Scott, 13, over here on the right. And there's Amy on the left. Oh, that's the only picture I found of her. That one right there. That you have. That's it. Scott, we have two. We have that one here on the right, 13. We have another one, and that is all we have. So I'm gonna let you see there, Mama. This one makes there's Margaret. So Margaret, let me adjust myself. So Margaret has Scott, where the 1965. We don't know anything about his father. Nothing. Okay. They were in Illinois. That's where Margaret is from. We don't know nothing about his daddy. What we do know is that she ended up marrying a man named Roger Fandell. And about 5.5 years later, they had Amy. Let's go back over here to this. They had little Amy right there. So Roger was a pipe fitter and all that. So he took the family from Illinois to Sterling, Alaska, because they were working on the pipeline. It was like people were flooding in, all these, workers. So they were there, they stayed. Okay. And Roger ended up adopting Scott. So we have Scott Fandell and Amy Fandell. So Roger wasn't very, hey, Banjo, Roger wasn't a faithful man. And Margaret drank too much. Now, I don't know if one caused the other, or I don't know. Why don't I know? Because it ain't out there. Okay. Well, I don't know if Margaret was drinking heavily because Scott was fooling around, or Scott was fooling around because Margaret drank too much. Didn't matter. Roger, I'm sorry, did I say Scott? Roger. Roger eventually met a woman in Sterling, and he moved. Hey, SDA, he moved to Arizona with that girlfriend. He left Margaret, Scott, and Ann in Sterling, Alaska. Sterling had probably about 900 people in it. So now we have Margaret. She is a single mother. She is a waitress. She works long hours to help get all the ends to meet. Those kids are they're left alone a lot. Okay. Scott is 13, Amy 8. And I guess that is old enough. I mean, this was the 70s. It's happened. What the crime we're going to talk about was in 1978. So she worked long hours. These children were alone a lot. So next door, about 200 yards, we're going to talk about the, hold on, let me get it up. That's the only other picture that we have. We're going to talk about the Lupton. I'm sorry, L. They lived in this type of house. I can't pronounce it. I forgot how to pronounce it. But basically, this is like this. That's what they lived in. This is not their exact one, but it's called something, and I can't remember what it is. Some kind of cabin. I mean, this is nice if you look, through this way. I don't know what theirs look like. Why? Because you can't find out. Okay, it is neat, right? Okay, so about 200 yards, we had the Luptons and their 5 children. Now, Scott and Amy played with those children. They were around the same age. They caught the school bus together, really good friends. When Margaret, I guess, needed someone to watch those children, the Luptons did do that, because what are you going to do? There's Scotty again. Now, we're going to zoom up to September 1978. And I'm about to give you probably more of the most catastrophic mistakes that Margaret made. And there were not one, there were not two, there were many, many catastrophic mistakes that she made from September 4th to September 5th. And we're going to go over. So she had talked her sister Kathy into moving out to Sterling to help her raise the kids and work, right? So even Margaret's a boss. Margaret was a waitress, and Margaret's boss paid for Kathy to fly from Illinois to Alaska because I think he was also going to employ her as well. So Kathy arrives on September 4th, 1978. Scott puts in his little journal, he can't wait, right? Can't wait for his aunt to get there. So let me just tell you a little bit about these kids too. Scott was smart as a whip. Smart as a whip. He had just passed survival training in the woods. He was great at math. He was a little bit of a jokester. He absolutely fiercely loved his little sister. Okay, fiercely. Amy is described as sweet. She loved pretty dresses. She just a little girl. Pretty dresses, pretty shoes, and all that. So Kathy arrives. I wish I had a picture of Kathy, but I don't because why would I? They're not out there. Kathy arrives. So there is a restaurant/bar called Good Time Charlie's. And Kathy and Margaret took the children to Fun Time Charlie's. Now there's like foosball game, there's skee ball, foosball, all that great stuff. So the children were running around doing that. Kathy and Margaret were at the bar drinking beer. I'm not going to say that as a catastrophic mistake, but it certainly did lead to something. All right. So they sat there for a while. And then they decided to take the children home. Some places say that they walked the children home, and the other ones say that it was, a drive home. Either way, at 10 o'clock, Margaret and Kathy took the children home to a 2-bedroom cabin set way off into the woods. Couldn't see it from the road, okay? And then they decided to leave, Kathy and Margaret, to continue drinking. Catastrophic mistake number one. That's number one. This was a school night as well. So they bring the children back at 10 o'clock. Kathy says, lock the door behind us, which made them all laugh because the front door didn't lock. It didn't have a lock on it. It was broken. And they leave to go out and do some more drinking. Some reports say they went back to Fun Time Charlie's. Some reports said they went over here. It doesn't matter. They left these children alone. So around 11 o'clock, let's say, I'm not going to lie, that's not true. Right after they got dropped off, Scott and Amy went over to the Luptons, a 200-yard path. 200 yards is a lot. Think about 2 football fields. That's not a short distance. If you're walking in the at 10 o'clock at night. All right. So they get over to the Lumpkins' house, and all of the kids start playing and all that. And I can't imagine. And let me show you. This was the Lumpkins style home. That's this thing right here. I can't remember what it's called. I wish I could, but I can't remember. So the Scotty and Amy and the 5 kids, they were playing. They started getting a little loud. So the Lumpkin parents said, Scott and Amy, go on back home. Everybody's got to go to bed. Okay, everybody's got to go to bed tomorrow school day. So they walked back over, Scott and Amy, 200 yards to the cabin. That's the last time we know that Scott and Amy are alive. So we're going to start talking about these catastrophic more. Scott and Amy were scared of the dark. So when they were at home alone and their mother wasn't there, every light in that cabin is on. Now, I can't imagine this is a very large cabin. And I wish I could show you the cabin, but I can't because it doesn't exist anymore. It burned down. But before that, we didn't have none either. We didn't have not one photograph of it. There is not a crime scene photo. There is nothing on this, okay? And this is 1978. All right. Nope. Yep, 1978. So, a neighbor does point out that they were driving home and they could see the lights in the cabin were all on. Well, then I got to think, well, wait a minute. If it's so far off the road that you couldn't see it, how do they know that the lights were on? That's just another thing, right? Yeah, Banjo, it's kind of like that. I mean, like I'll show you the next part of it. I looked at some of these; some of them are gorgeous. I just don't know what kind the Luptons had, because that would require someone, you know. Yeah, so the neighbor said he could see at 11:45 that the lights were on in the home. Okay, we'll take that. Yeah, we'll take that. So around between 2 and 3 a.m. in the morning, here we go with these catastrophic mistakes. They got home, Margaret and Kathy, between 2 and 3. They were so drunk, they don't know. True story. They just know it was between 2 and 3 a.m. Now, when they pull up, not a light is on in that cabin. We're talking about two children that were scared of the dark. It's 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And when those two drive down that driveway, there are no lights on. You would think Margaret would go, hold on, that's not right. That's not right. We're going to get into our next catastrophic mistake. They walk into the cabin, Margaret and Kathy, drunk as farts. On the stove, a boiling pot of water. I'm going to say that again. A boiling pot of water. Scott's favorite thing to eat at night before he went to bed was noodles, tomatoes, right? And he made them and he go to bed. Some people said it was macaroni and cheese, like a box of crab. Other people said he just liked the pasta. I don't give a fuck. So Margaret walks in. We've got the open can of tomatoes. We've got the pasta. We've got a boiling pot. A boiling pot of water. I can't imagine Scott was using a giant pot of water because but let's see. Again, let's go back. Margaret pulls into the driveway. No lights on in the house. That does never happen. The kids are too scared of the dark. Walks into the house, and there's a boiling pot of water. Between 2 and 3, she can't really remember what time she got up. I guess it happens. Then you walk in, there's a boiling pot of water, which would lead me to believe that my son had just either forgot about it or just decided he didn't want it. But why is there a boiling pot of water at 2 to 3 a.m.? Okay. We're getting ready to hit another catastrophic mistake. Margaret went to her bedroom and opened the door and assumed that her children weren't going to be in there because they slept with her. She opens the door, no children. That's mistake number 3. And there you go. Thank you, Halloween baby. Thank you. That's exactly it. A Quonset. Thank you. Thank you very much. So she opens up the door. So we've got the lights off. We got the boiling hot pot of water with the open can of tomatoes. She opens the bedroom door, no children. What does she do? She goes to bed. She goes to bed. Assuming, I suppose, that the children were over at the Luptons. Didn't bother to call. Didn't bother to find out. She went to bed. Kathy went to bed on the sofa. Margaret wakes up at 8:30. She has to be at work at 8:30. She goes to work. Another catastrophic mistake. She goes to work and she decides, this is her story, that she decided to call the school to yell at Amy, who was 8, to yell at Amy for not coming home before she got on the bus. The school says she's not here. And Margaret goes, oh, now this is Margaret's story. It's not anywhere else. We're going to get some more catastrophic mistakes just in a minute. So she says, oh, And she goes to her boss and look, Amy's not at school. I have to go. He says, you ain't going nowhere. You're going to finish out this damn shift. That's what you're going to do. She doesn't call her sister Kathy, who's asleep in her house, to say, hey, just talk to the school. They say Amy's not there. Can you go up to the Lumpkins? Can you help me? Can you look around for her? No, she didn't do that. So Kathy wakes up at 12. She doesn't know the difference, right? The kids aren't there. She doesn't know their schedule. She wakes up 12 o'clock. All right. Here we go. We're going there. We're cooking with grease right now. So a little while later, the Lupton children got off the school bus, came directly over to Margaret's, and Kathy opened the door and they said, where were Scott and Amy today? Can they come play? To which Kathy goes, well, wait a minute. That ain't quite right. So eventually, now mind you, nope, Kathy ain't calling their diner and the dollar ain't, they're not calling Kathy. So, okay. Yeah, so Margaret finally comes home. They look around. Margaret calls the Alaska State Police at 5:14 p.m. on the 5th. Those children have officially been gone for 17 hours. 17 hours. So you know where they could have been in 17 hours? Think about it. 17 hours. So they show up, the police show up, they bring dogs, nothing, no scent, no nothing. You would think maybe a scent would go over to the Lumpkins, maybe, because that's where they'd gone that night and then come back. Those dogs didn't do dick, nothing. They didn't find nothing. What they were found on the ground that were casings, bullet casings. Let me remind you of this. We're in Sterling, Alaska, okay? I think, and everybody, when I did this research, it would be odd if you didn't find bullet casings in your yard. It would be odd. Not to mention that the Lumpkins, even though they're 200 yards away, didn't hear screaming, hollering, any kind of gun. Is that because they're heavy sleepers? I couldn't tell you. 200 yards is a lot. At 200 is a lot in woods, I mean, think about trees and all that absorb sound. I mean, it's what they do, So then Margaret decides, I'm going to call Roger in Arizona. And she calls, and she can't get him on the phone. But his family says he doesn't have the children. She thought maybe he just jetted up there to Alaska on a whim and decided to kidnap the children. He ain't got them. He ended up calling. He goes, I don't have them, but I'm on my way. He flies to Sterling to look for them. So a neighbor, I don't know if it's the same neighbor that saw their lights on at 11:45. I don't know if that's the same neighbor, but a neighbor says, you know what, though? Now that you mention it, I saw a black sedan speeding down this road. I did. And I followed them because I thought they might be burglars. And as I was following them, they turned off into a driveway and turned their lights on. I thought that was odd. So I turned around and I went back, right? And they were there. They were gone. That person just doesn't remember. Okay. So the police are going, black sedan. That's awkward. That's kind of weird. Well, then we find out that the black sedan belonged to two men who were working for a carnival. You know, the carnies. Everybody loves a carny, right? It belonged to two carnival workers. Now, here's the weird part. Catastrophic mistake number 73. Margaret had these two men sleep in her home the last week in August. We're at September 5th right now. So literally only weeks, maybe not even a week, she allowed these two carnival workers to spend the night in her home with two children. Was she drinking? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. All right. So they find the carnival workers, right? And those men were actually from the East Coast. And they'd come out to the Alaska, fair thing. And they said, oh, no, it wasn't us. I mean, y'all, well, yeah, no, it was us. Yeah, we were out there. And we thought about maybe stopping by and seeing how Margaret was, but we didn't. We just left. And the police go, oh, okay. Okay, thanks. Ruled those out. Ruled them out. So that there ends our story. I'm not shit you not. There ends our story. That is it. There's no more. One thing I forgot to bring up, and that's Margaret. Okay, this is Scotty, of course. Scott owns this motorbike, right? This motorcycle. It is worth $3,000 in 1978. It was worth $3,000 back then. Okay. Where the hell did he get that bike? She didn't have $3,000. Roger, the dad, doesn't know where that money came from, where that bike came from. Scott rode it everywhere, though. He rode it everywhere. The bike still at home, not ever been touched. So we don't know where that came from. And apparently Margaret wasn't willing to tell us either. We don't know where it came from. $3,000 bike in 1978. Don't know. Who cares? Whatever. That's all. Now I'm going to tell you another reason why the carnival workers were basically, ruled out is because that neighbor that chased them couldn't remember if it was on the 5th or the 6th. So it was either the night they went missing or the night after they went missing. He couldn't remember. It happens, right? It happens. So we go some years later, and there's an Uncle Terry. Sorry. Fucking pollen. There's an Uncle Terry, Margaret's uncle. He is convinced that Roger had those children kidnapped, had Scott killed shortly after being kidnapped, and that Amy, his daughter, even though Scott was his son, make no mistake, Roger loved that boy, but that he had Amy just kind of squared away, hidden away somewhere up in Alaska. She was still alive today. This is what Uncle Terry says. And so Roger says, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're the one that did it. You probably did it. So you have two people absolutely screaming, hollering at each other that the other one did it. Uncle Terry's yard was dug up looking for these children, which made him mad. He was very offended by that. How dare you? So they just gave him a whole new, landscape right there. Children never found. Okay. There is a Facebook group. There is a Facebook group for anything. I shit you not. Anything in the world. There is a Facebook group for it. And there is a Facebook group for these children. There is a woman on there whose name is Amy. She is a member of the group. And then somebody decided that she was Amy Fandell. Why not? I mean, the whole group, oh, no, you're Amy. You're Amy. And she's like, I am not Amy. Stop that. No, I'm not, right? This is how this group works, the Facebook group. Not real bright. So she actually had to put out something. She shut her Facebook down and a statement, I am not Amy Fandell. Please stop it. My name is Amy. I live in Alaska. That's it. We got no more. That's it. No more. So for that, I have just told you everything that we know about Scott and Amy Fandell. Margaret ended up moving back to Illinois, sobering up and getting remarried. Did she have more children? Couldn't tell you because you can't find it. The cabin burned down in 1970. So I'm thinking, okay, did the cabin burn down in 1970? So Margaret came back to Illinois, or did she come back to Illinois? I mean, I don't know why. That sequence is not known at all. Yeah, so we have not found them. They are nowhere on Earth to be found. No sign has ever been, nothing. There's nothing. Since the night that the cops came, ran the dogs, nothing has ever been found. Yeah, Amy makes sense, right? It does. And so also, let me tell you, Margaret wanted to leave Sterling because people were starting to point at her and say she was a bad mom. Now, if you make one catastrophic mistake in let's do 10 years. Let's say 10 years. You have one, as a mother, you have one catastrophic mistake. That's bad. And but if you go to a 2-day period and you have that many catastrophic mistakes, something ain't right. So some of the things that people have, we can only imagine what happened. One of the theories is that somebody heard them talking at the bar that they were going to take the children home and then go back out. And that person waited. I mean, it could happen. It could absolutely happen. Another is that Scott and Amy, when they went back home from the Lumptons, caught somebody there, right? And that person kidnapped them and turned all the lights off. Okay, well, that's not a very viable one, because between 2 and 3, we had boiling water. And I don't think the kidnapper would have said, you know what, Scott, y'all, get your little snack before I take you out the door, okay? So odds are that didn't happen. All right, so odds are that's not there. Plus, if you can't see the cabin from the road, how do you know to go down there? But, because there are 2 children alone there. How would you even know that there were 2 children there alone? You would have to have heard it at the bar, or I don't know where you would have heard. I don't know what else you could have. I don't know where you could have heard that. So then another option is that Roger dead. Have somebody kidnap the 2 children, kill Scott off, and take Amy somewhere else up in Alaska to be raised. That would be my thought. Yeah. Could it have been these carnival workers? Absolutely, it could have been them. 100% it could have been them. But these police didn't. They cleared them. They're even saying, yeah, we thought about going over there to say hi. We just didn't. Okay. Yeah. No. Okay, let's do they ran away. Oh, they just ran away. Well, I don't think Scott would have left his bike. I don't think he would have put his sister in danger. He did pass a wilderness survival course. I'll give him that. But that's real different than dragging your 8-year-old sister through the Alaskan wilderness to look for a better life. I don't know why he would have done that. By all accounts, they were very excited that their aunt was coming. So why would he do that? I don't know. I don't think he would. So the only thing we're left is somehow, some way, somebody took those children out of that house without any commotion, without knocking anything over, without blood all over the place. It happened. Or it didn't happen. I don't know. But what I do know is when Margaret moved back to Illinois and then sobered up and got remarried, she ain't never been back to Alaska. No, ceremonial bench in their honor or nothing. She ain't never been back. Now, if they were my children, and people have said this, I love this. I love what said this. Back in 1978, you just didn't have to. You didn't have to lock your doors. Bullshit. You've always had to lock your doors. What the hell are you talking about? You just didn't have things didn't happen. Yeah, it did. I'm begging people that think that nothing happened back in 1978. Go look. Abduction. We've talked about them here. Yeah, bad shit happened in the 1970s. I'm sorry. But, and so that's what I told you. This was going to be that fast. I drew it out for y'all, too. I drew it out for y'all. Rogers, I mean, they've never been seen again. Did Roger have more children? I don't know. You can't find them. Did Margaret have more children? Don't know. Couldn't look it up. There's been nobody that's ever been able to do this. That she gone. Poof. She's just gone. The uncles, back and forth. You did it. No, you did it. Hello, unashamed. How are you, my love? Hey, Charlie K. I love me some Charlie K. That's my Charlie K. Yeah, so I think Alaska did alert the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and I think they alerted some kind of ferry. We're 17 hours into this. They're not going to be on a ferry. This is 17 hours that these kids have been gone. And I don't know how you live with yourself. I'm sorry, I don't. You called me and call me something. I don't know how you live with yourself. That many catastrophic mistakes in a row in a 48-hour period, really just a 24-hour period. I'm being nice, though. That you make that man, I don't care how drunk you are. I don't give a. I have been off my ass plenty of times. Not around my children, though, but, And that's the end of this story. I wish there were more. And there's not. There's not. Here's their photo. You know how the Center for Missing and Exploited Children, they do this to children a lot. They'll do the age progressed photograph. Or there you go. So this is what Scott might look like today. Look at it. Look at his little eyes. He was absolutely adorable. And here's little Amy and what she could look like today. And that's all we got. That's all we got. I have covered kidnappings or disappearances. If y'all know Johnny Ghost, we've done a lot of these. We've done a lot. Agent Degree, we've done a lot of missing children. And I have never seen a parent drop off the face of the earth like this one did, like Margaret did. That will be her final catastrophic mistake. Because I'm telling you right now, and I know I got parents in here, if my kids were missing and I had to dig through Alaska with a fucking spoon, I would do it. I would do it. And I know y'all would too. Give me a fucking spoon and let me go. I'll find them. That didn't happen. So I don't know if Margaret's alive now. I don't know if Roger's alive. I don't know. You just can't find it. There's a lot of I looked up obituaries, right, for Roger Fandell. It's not a name that you hear often, and there are some obituaries, and none of them mention the children. In fact, I think a lot of them are like, that's absolutely not him. As far as Margaret, I don't know what her married name would be, but you could put her Fandell, whatever. You're not going to find anything. It's not out there. It's not out there. All right, now we're gonna go through this, and I'm gonna play the news thing for you. All right, but this is the case, October 31st, 1974. 17-year-old Laura Amy left a Halloween party, okay, and she disappeared. They didn't find her until a month later. She was naked. She was tied up. She was obviously dead. All right. Well, you know what they always say when you go to the police. My 17-year-old, my 60-year-old daughter's missing. Oh, they ran away. They ran away. They'll be back. Well, she didn't come back, and they found her murdered, and in a very horrendous way. Okay. Now, let's go to Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy, we know, has killed well over 30 women and children, okay, in a 4-year period, 74 to 78. He killed a lot of ladies, okay? Now, when he was ultimately charged and trialed and all that in Florida, because he also killed people other places, right? But they got him in Florida. He got the death penalty. Well, and I know y'all, I am old enough to remember this. I know y'all, a lot of y'all aren't. Right? Every time one of Ted Bundy's execution dates were coming, and here she is. This is Laura. She's absolutely beautiful. Look at this. She's absolutely stunning. And every time one of his execution dates were coming, all of a sudden Ted Bundy was like, oh, well, what? No, wait. I have killed more people. Why don't you give me some time and I'll tell you who they are? And it worked. It worked like twice. It worked twice. His execution date got put off, right? He stopped cooperating. All of a sudden, couldn't remember anymore. The second date came up. Oh, wait. No, there's more. And finally, Florida was like, all right, no, guy, it's time to go. Now, what he did, he mentioned Laura on one of these stalls, right? He mentioned that he killed her. He couldn't give any details about it. He couldn't give any details about her the way she died. So basically, that wasn't, they didn't really count it. They didn't really count it. But, and I'm sorry, this was in Utah. She was near Salt Lake City, Utah. So the detectives and investigators in Utah kept her murder open, meaning they didn't just take his word for it, close the case, and there we are. No, they kept it open. And they kept it open, and they kept it open. Okay? So this very week, the DNA finally came back, and Ted Bundy was Laura's killer. It took, 51 years from her murder to the day they said Ted Bundy indeed did kill this girl. I want to give you something else. I want y'all to hear the last meal that Ted Bundy got to eat. All right, you ready? I'm going to give it to you. All right. Let me find it. This son of a bitch. I'm telling you what, man. He had a steak, medium well. He had eggs. He had hash browns. He had biscuits toast with butter and jelly. He got milk and juice too. That was part of his last meal. And I really do have to wonder, what was Laura's last meal? I'm sure he doesn't know. And I'm sure it wasn't anything like Ted got to eat. But let me read. I'm sorry. I watched that story a couple of, it's, I did a paper on him once. When I left, it was so dark. He was a mastermind. When he was in, was it Seattle, I think Washington, he would put a fake cast on arm or leg and then start to try to put something on his car. And a woman would say, oh, you need me to help? He never asked him to help, I don't think. And then he got him and he'd murder him. He'd murder him. Now I'm going to stop sharing this. I do have actually just the news for him, like her little story. And so something's happened up there because I can hear it. Let's just do this one.
Laura Ann Amy is one of dozens of victims now linked by DNA to Bundy. He was executed in 1989.
The confirmation carries significance for the man who actually found her body. He spoke exclusively with our KSL's Dave Cawley, and he joins us now on set here. And Dave, you talked a little bit about how he remembers this almost like it was yesterday.
Yeah, there's an amazing thing when you go back to a case that's 50 years old. People's memories fade over time. They get certain details wrong. And when I approached this gentleman to interview him, I had access to the original transcript of the statement he gave police on the day that he found Laura's body. And it was able to substantiate the facts that he told me. So he has an amazing story to tell about that day.
So I've always remembered her name. I've always remembered her as a human being.
Ray Ivins has never forgotten what happened on the day before Thanksgiving in 1974. He still remembers every detail.
After 50 years, right? It's pretty amazing that you found me and that we're sitting here talking about. That's a lot of time.
Ray was just a young BYU student at the time who took his girlfriend on a hike up American Fork Canyon.
And since it was November, the leaves on the trees fall off, and I had noticed a trail that I'd never seen before and wanted to go discover.
They parked at a pullout near the Timpanogos Cave Visitor Center.
Seeing that there's a river, had to get out of my car and go down and across the river. The river's running maybe a foot deep or so, so you've got to pick yourself across.
Then scramble up a steep slope to the trail on the opposite side.
And we started walking down it towards the where Timpanogos Cave is.
That's when they noticed a Volkswagen Beetle driving up the canyon.
And it went into the same parking spot where our car was. I couldn't actually see it, but I was worried that someone was breaking into my car.
So they retraced their steps back to the creek.
Right by where we came down, that's where we discovered Laura Amy.
The body of a teenage girl tangled in the brush. Ray wasn't sure if she was alive or dead. He and his girlfriend rushed to the Cave Visitor Center to get help.
I had left her, like you said, and now that I had my date safe, I wanted to make sure and hopefully rescue this young woman.
So he grabbed a Ranger and headed back to the creek.
The riverbank's kind of long, the pull-off's kind of long. We went to a wrong spot. I couldn't find her.
The Ranger seemed skeptical, like maybe Ray was pulling a prank. But Ray knew what he had seen, and he soon found Laura again.
It was apparent that she was deceased.
At the time, no one knew Laura Amy was even missing.
And no one knew about Theodore Bundy yet, but there was Debbie Kent that had disappeared.
A bountiful teen who had disappeared a couple weeks earlier. Ray asked the Utah County Sheriff's detective about Deborah Kent.
Hey, do you think this could be her? Do you have any suspects? And the detective said, yeah, you.
Quite the shock for a young man who only wanted to help. Today, we can say Ray was truly a good Samaritan. He likely found Amy before all trace of her might have been lost under winter snow and spring runoff.
So as horrific as it is, and something that I would way prefer not to have happen, the one thing that makes me feel better is that people knew where she was, and she just didn't disappear off the face of the earth like a lot of those girls did.
Ray's never met Laura's family, but even 50 years later, he's encouraged knowing his part in this story has at last helped bring them peace.
I felt good about the fact that they found her. I felt terrible about the tragedy. And as you grow, the thing is, it stays with you because as you grow and you have your own kids, you realize how horrible that must have been for them.
That was Dave Colley's report, and we will have more from him in just a minute. Amy's family.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah, so the police didn't even tell them that they kept the case open. So, I mean, like Halloween baby, the police said, yeah, you have a suspect. Yeah, you. I get that. I guess I get that. I mean, I get it. The people that say that 1974, the 70s were just so great, no, they weren't. You just didn't have 24-hour TV. You didn't have 24-hour national TV. You know, it was still horrible. But I can't imagine. I can't imagine. So we'll talk about Christina Plant. That's a little girl who was 13. She's beautiful. Let me, she's, oh, fart. You know what? I took her down. You'll see her in a minute. Beautiful little child, 13, going to take care of a horse, walking that way. All of a sudden gone. You get that old, wow, they probably just ran away, you know. And it turns out this one did. And I don't understand. I don't know if we'll ever understand. I don't get it. What in the world was so bad at 13? And I'm not saying that it wasn't. Please know that. It could have, her childhood could have been absolutely horrific. I don't know. That would make a 13-year-old girl just go for 30-some years. I don't, and I guess it is, we're kind of in that, we're greedy because we do have this 24-hour-a-day news, and we can look up any paper's website. We can get up to the minute. Think about Nancy Guthrie. Okay, we know more about Nancy Guthrie than I know about a lot of the people I have to know. You know what I'm saying? So because we've got social media now, and we've got 24-hour news. I mean, Nancy Grace, who I had a great deal of respect for, now covers Nancy Guthrie every fucking day. What is new, Nancy? What are you waiting for? JLR's there. He's been sitting outside for what, 3 months? He's still sitting there. Let her go. I'm not saying I don't say it to be mean. We don't need daily coverage of not finding Nancy Guthrie. There's just nothing to talk about anymore. I like her too, Carrie, but damn, get on something else, honey. There are bigger things in this world than that. Every day she goes live. Nancy Guthrie, just stop. Just stop. And I'm not saying stop looking for her. Just stop covering it like you got breaking news. You ain't got no breaking news. We ain't got breaking news. Sorry, we don't. So I'm going to play y'all this. This is from, this is Christina's story. And then we're going to be done. This has been a painless thing here. Let me take screen here. Okay, I'm going to pick this one. And we're going to play it. Beautiful child. Maybe if I started it. Or maybe not. Hold on. Oh, shit, did I put on one that... No, I haven't. Hold on. She was a beautiful child. Maybe I don't have the one that's... All right, I don't have the one that's an actual thing. Well, fuck. Yeah, that's where the sheriff's office is. So that's good to know. That's really good to know. But quite frankly, everything that I've told you is all that we're going to read this right here. It's right there. It's nothing. We don't know where she was. Well, we know now, I guess. We haven't heard about children. We haven't heard about, again, we don't know. We don't know. Does she deserve that privacy? Yes. If she were, I don't know if she deserves it or not. I mean, I don't know. You have that many, I'm your mom, you're whatever. And that long without knowing my daughter's okay, wondering what happened to her in the last minutes of her life because you're almost certain she's not alive anymore. And you got the searches, and you mean to tell me your ass was alive somewhere and you couldn't think to call me? I don't know what this kid's got. Well, she had a kid no more. She's 44. I don't know what the hell her problem is. I'd love to know. I don't want it to be horrible. But what the fuck is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? If you're the parents and you know why she left, you shitty too. That's it. That is it. I'm gonna share this Netflix, the Texas Killing Fields. It's a good watch. You're going to punch air when you're done here, okay? Because so many of these girls, we don't have just the girls that went missing, okay? The women that were found, 4 of them. Lori Miller being one of them, Tim Miller's daughter from Equisearch. He is in here a lot when they get up to that point. He's in this a lot as well. He should be. I have such a respect for him. I cannot tell you. Because I've watched this documentary before, and he was like, when they made it, he was like 70-some years old. He doesn't want to do this anymore. He doesn't want to go find people anymore, but he has to. Because if you remember, it's been 7 countries, almost every state. He is gone with the 4-wheelers and the horses and all, and he has found dead or alive a lot of people. And only this week did he know for sure out of the 3 murderers, okay, that were in that area, and good night, Avion, who were buddies, okay, they're friends. Tim Miller has spoken to this new murderer over 30 times in the last 40 years. 30 times. There's one that they thought did it. He was Clyde. Watch them. Just watch these episodes. Watch this documentary. If you can't find it on Netflix, you don't have Netflix, we'll bootleg it. I don't have, we'll get it to you. It is absolutely heart-wrenching. And the again, we're getting updates on this now today. This is a guy they mentioned. This is a guy, I think he might be briefly on this. I haven't watched all of it again, but watch it. And then we can discuss. Hey, Max, we can discuss it if you want to. I would love to have a panel on that one because it is so. You have women and children under attack, literally, in that corridor from Galveston to right outside of Houston. You have open season on women and children. These 4 women that they found and girls found murdered in that same little area. It's just a little area that there are so many more that are missing from that era that these men, because there's a couple murders, probably killed, and we just haven't found them yet. Or not we, I'm not out there looking, but they haven't been found yet. But they're missing, and they're missing from this block of time. And the first thing that people are told when this is, one, either they're painted as whores. There's one girl, Heidi, and her family, Heidi. Her family calls her Heidi. It was kind of a joke. She worked at a bar, but when she went missing, the word on the street was, "Oh, she's a whore. She works at that bar." When Tim Miller's daughter went missing, they said she ran away. It's all right. She'll be back. And mind you, Petey was on the payphone. Laura Miller was on a payphone outside of a little store. So this guy, and one of the guys lives near. I can't give it away, but you just have to do it. Yeah, watch it. I'm telling you, you will be so mad. Lead, Texas, Lead City. Yeah, like I said, when you see this, where the girls were found, and what it looked like then, and what it looks like now, because Tim Miller and them have put up wooden crosses where the girls were. It's like, it's grass and it's nice, but back then it was just literally a shithole. Okay, so yeah, watch that. If you do watch it and you have a reaction, y'all know, email me. Put it in the description. Call me if you got my number. And, you want to talk about this? I would love to do that. I would love to do that because these women, this is why I do these things. They cannot be ignored. You cannot act like they didn't happen. You can't. No. I didn't know Scott and Amy at Fandell. Never heard the name before in life, but I should have. We all should have heard it. That's why I do these old ones. Nobody's talking about them. Their fucking parents ain't even talking about them. Hey, Lady K, you have to go back and watch all of this. Lady K, you can also go to Netflix and watch The Killing Fields. Hold on, I'm gonna give it to you again. The Killing Fields. Watch this documentary because there's been a development this week, but it is so complicated that I can't do it. Yeah, the Bell guy. Yeah, Lavender. We've talked about that before. Yes, we've talked about that. Lavender, he was in her, she worked in a prison. Hey, my lady so much. Yeah, so you are late, you are tardy, but I will not mark you as such. We're going to forgive it for now. But, yeah, so what am I going to do next week? I have no clue. It's like it's a nighttime Bristol race, so maybe I won't. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. If I don't do one Saturday night, I'll do one Sunday. It'll be fine. And what am I going to do? I have no idea. I never know what I'm going to do. But yeah, happy Easter, everyone. Hold your family close. I'm having, all of my weirdos are coming over tomorrow, and I've got to start cooking tonight. So, yeah, I hope y'all have a great Easter. I really do wish. I was thinking about this the other day. I wish that we all lived near each other. I swear to God. I wish y'all would. We all live together around each other, and could like get together and eat and maybe one day. Maybe one day. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Mitt Mom. Oh, honey, did y'all hear that? All right, so I'm gonna go upstairs and I'm gonna start cooking. Happy Easter, Carrie, to you, all of you. Thank you for showing up. I do appreciate you every time. It would be fun. Lady K, I might have wine. I might have wine. Happy Easter to all of you, and I'll see you. Maybe I'll see you this week. No, I need to go look at that. And I do have a parody that's going to be coming up this week. Yeah, we're working on the logistics of that because I don't know if technically I can do it without catching something on fire. So we got to look into that. If I'm not going to catch things on fire, it'll be this week. If I will, we're going to figure out another way to do the parody, but one's coming, and I assure you that is happening. Oh, I'll go look. Carrie, I'll go look. I missed that. You'll be home with the cats. Oh, state of disorder. I just want to come to your house and sit and just talk to you and watch TV. Thank you, Vicky, for coming. I appreciate you so much. Yes, Holy Saturday. Yep. So happy Easter, and I'll see you probably this week. Maybe a couple times this week. I don't know. But have a blessed weekend and week. And I will see you soon. And as always, I will put the new subject on my community post as soon as I figure it out. Yeah, Wolf Rider, happy Easter to everybody. All right, I got to go up here and start cooking. Love you guys. Thank you again so much.